The king is dead, and his kingdom has died with him. The farms on the continent have been burned. Those that remain will not trade with us for fear of pirates. All of our money has been spent defending that indefensible empire, and now we truly have nothing. However, there still remains an opportunity. The barbarians brought death and ruin unto us, yet now they themselves have become civilized. They have grown fat and complacent off of the infrastructure we built. Now, it is our turn to be the barbarians, like we were before the Empire. We shall sail west to the continent, burn their villages, and take everything from them, just as they have done to us. After reciting this, Ethelred and his men went off to the continent and did all that was said. Well, you saw it. We have officially won over this land from the hands of the evil Lysini tribe, who have famously been our enemies for a very long time. I swear I'm not schizophrenic, they're totally real. Anyway, the Lysini are still kind of roaming around in these hills, and they have a very high likelihood of attacking any of our settlements, so we're gonna need to make sure that we make this little town here. We're gonna put some settlers here, and we're gonna make sure that they're very safe by building a little castle. Well, not a little castle, it's gonna be quite large. So, in the Viking period, like a long time ago in Denmark, they built a couple, like not many of them, but just like a couple of these massive, perfectly circular castles, and they're pretty much the only Viking castle that ever existed, so it's the only Viking castle I can build, and I thought I'd put one here. There's basically a big ring with like a little dirt mound with a wall on top of it, and on the inside there are two roads which cross in the middle, and they make like a little like a cross in the middle, and you have these four sections which are used for different things. In real life they'd have a bunch of longhouses, but that would like be huge, so I'm just gonna kind of put whatever I want in there and make it look kind of Viking-y, and it's gonna be probably one of the more historically accurate things we build, but also I'm gonna, you know, make up some stuff as well. And it's gonna go right about here. I've spent a long time gathering all the materials. You'd be surprised how large this is gonna be, and we're gonna put it here, and it's gonna be great. But we should start first with the big circular mound, so let's do that right now. Do you think this is maybe a tad overkill? Well, either way, I have built these awesome ramparts here, which are some dirt mounds, which there will be walls going on top of. These are like, you know, to give some added protection, to make the walls higher. They're not really very useful in Minecraft, but they are in real life, so I have built them here, and they turned out a lot bigger than I thought they would, but this is kind of necessary for what I want to build in here. And basically this whole circle is going to have these roads which will intersect in the middle, and there are these little crossings with some stones to hold back the dirt so that you can get through. There isn't one over there for one specific reason, which you will see in just a moment, and that is that this is a massive drop off. Like, this is a giant cliff. There's no way you can put a road there. Maybe a bit bigger than I thought. It just like the hill slopes down here. It's this is like about that is about ground level over there, and that down there is like 20 blocks below. I've also dug a bit of a trench over here because this is theoretically the more dangerous side. Like, maybe the evil tribes are over there and they wouldn't attack from the south side, so there's a bit of a trench here. My patience has a limits, so I didn't dig a trench around the entire thing, and even just like that bit took a long time because it's all stone and there was a big mountain there and I had to tear the whole thing down. So now that we have built these gigantic ramparts, we're ready to put some walls up here and put some little towers in these entrances, and then after that we will be ready to start building the actual city, which is what this is supposed to be. So let's do that right now.
My mill grinds pepper and spice. Your mill grinds rats and mice.
Ta-da! I have built some walls, and just like everything else in this project, they have taken a lot longer than I expected them to. As you can see, they are only a couple blocks tall. They're not like super tall, because then they would make the mound below it look really small, so I wanted it to all look kind of balanced and like sort of like they're an even height. And they don't have any jut out like they normally do. They have like this block that comes out. That'd be like the matriculations or whatever. They're very useful in combat so that people can't ladder up or even like place water if they wanted to, which no, they would still be able to do that, whatever. They're usually used in most practical castles, but this one, it would just look really dumb, and you can get away with this by like placing walls on the edge up here, and you would only have to do that if there's an actual battle. So for now, it's just completely blank. It looks nice, it's a lot easier to build, and it's not really any less effective. Now, what is extremely effective is this gate here. This is a double gate with what they call murder holes, and lots of them. So when you walk in here, there's going to be a gate. This will be fences coming down, like, actually no, they'll be about here. So you come through here, and you're trying to break down this gate with your little wooden axe, which is what you're allowed to use to break down gates in this server. These holes flip open with some trapdoors, and people up there will be able to shoot at you, or even place lava, which I'm really excited to do. I've never done that, but I think like that could be so cool if someone's trying to break through and you just put lava on them and there's nothing they can do. Like, traps have never been used, but they could really be super useful. Like, there's nothing you can do if someone places lava on top of your head. So if you break through that one, there's another gate and more holes of death, and now if they place lava, it's even harder to get out because you have a gate behind you that you have to go back through. And if you get through that, then you're in and you've basically won. But either way, like, this is a very nice, effective gate. It's also very practical. Like, there's nothing preventing you from sprinting across here like some other designs would have. Like, there's no big tower because they're totally useless. Like, do you need to have be like a couple blocks up to be able to scout? Like, you can see all of it from pretty much here. Now on the inside here, we've got this big walkway and all this big wall and stuff, and I think it looks pretty awesome. There's of course going to be buildings here, so you won't see this big massive coliseum like space here, but like just this whole area is looking so nice. There's some slight detailing here. I mean, it's not much, it's very plain, it's very basic because it is a castle, it's meant to be functional, but I think in the end, like, this whole area looks really awesome. Well, now that we have built the walls for our fortress, now we have to build these buildings in the middle. Particularly, we're going to start off with another stave church. Now, I know I already built one, but this one's going to be smaller, it's going to look different, and I swear there's totally a purpose, and I'm not just obsessed. So, let's begin building this little church right here. Observe this Viking stave church that I have built here. As you can tell, it is slightly smaller than the other one. It's slightly narrower, it's slightly shorter, and it's slightly shorter lengthwise. So it is smaller, although it is still kind of large for the space. It is a slightly different shape, of course, as you can see. This thing there is a lot smaller than it is on the other one. There's a big window in the front there, which lets in light to the inside, which is very useful. And in the back here, there's no circle tower, but is instead this square jut out, and there's also no round bit at the back here. It's just a square. Aside from that, it's quite similar. Just everything's sort of made a little bit smaller, a little more condensed, and you can see that a lot more when we walk onto the inside. There's still this little walkway that has been retained, but on the inside, you see here, it is a very stave church. Just look at that. Isn't that a cool view? You've got this light, you can see the cross up there, which is illuminated by the window, and you go down into this little mural with some heads that took me an extremely long time to make, by the way, so appreciate that. And then going down here, we've got this little altar-ish sort of thing with a thing enshrined there, and it looks like the light is shining down upon it. It's very pretty. In fact, let's go look at this. See here, this is the ancient cinnamon roll. This is actually the oldest cinnamon roll. Wait, no. This is the very first ancient debris which was collected from the nether the very same day that it was turned on, because I went into a bastion and found it, and so I've enshrined it here. I thought it was kind of interesting enough to put there, so there it is. Oldest ancient debris in the world. Probably never going to be really worth anything, but I needed something to put in there, so there it is. We also have this lovely pipe organ here. I could have put keys, because like you can do iron golem heads and make them look like keys, but that'd be too much effort, and I don't really care. Now, for the actual structure of the interior, there's something interesting. These staves is what they are. These are the staves here. Are supposed to have like a space in between the wall and the staves that you can walk around, but that it makes it way too big, and it leaves very little space on the inside for you to actually like stand in here. So I just put them against the wall. Technically not as realistic as it could be, but really like trying to get all the right details in here with this limited amount of space is very, very difficult. So I've done pretty much as good as I can. Like, I don't know if there's any better way to do any of this stuff. I don't think there is. So this is what I've produced. I'll give you a chance to look at it again. Just I really like this interior. I think it's pretty awesome. So now that's the last time you're ever going to see it, because I'm never coming in here again. Now let's go outside and look at the things which will be built here. So we've got all this empty land and some roads going through the middle, but of course we're not done. We're going to build some little houses, some little places for people to work, some like long houses as well. They're going to be very interesting, probably going to take a little bit less time than the rest of this because they're much simpler and smaller, and overall we're going to make this place feel like a true Viking city. It's going to be pretty awesome, so let's do that right now.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Just as everything else I ever do in Minecraft, this build took way too long, and in fact, I'm starting to think this whole project was kind of a dumb idea, but we have built all of the buildings that are going to be in this city, and it's feeling almost a little bit complete. I mean, you can definitely see the idea here. This is one of the better views, and honestly, this building, like this one, just take a look at that red building right there. I think it looks so nice. I don't even know why. It's the combination of the green and the red and the white. I think it's a great color scheme. It looks very Viking. Like, if you've ever seen one of those villages in Norway where it's a Viking village, like this is what it looks like right here. And so we've got this the square. It's not really a square, it's more like a plaza. Plaza? Does anyone actually know how to pronounce that? I don't know. And we, of course, have a pole, totally not for pagan rituals, I swear. And we've got some market stalls, which don't have anything in them because I haven't got around to that yet, but these are where someone could set up a shop. And there's one over here like that too. We've got this slightly decorated portal. Don't know if it looks any better than a normal portal, but I put that there because why not? And over this way we have a fenced off area. This sort of place will be like a military training area where you can go pa, you know, I don't know, like, I just basically needed something to fill in the space, so there might be some, like, training dummies out here eventually. And this is some sort of building. Yep, that's right, I haven't really put a lot of thought or effort into any of the interiors. I've just tried to make them sort of coherent, like a coherent structure. That way, maybe if someone wants to do something in there, they can, but I'm not going to because I don't care. This is an empty space, which I don't know what to do with. And coming this way, we have a second little quarter that is filled up with some buildings. These ones are definitely a lot better. I built them in creative mode, not... Well, that's not true. I designed them in creative mode on another world, so that's why they're a little bit better. And you can see we've got some granaries over here, raised granaries. Cool fun fact, rats are really annoying, and they like to climb into granaries and eat them, so they have these little posts with little rocks on top of them, which the whole building sits on. That way, when the rats try to climb up, they reach this overhang and they just can't get up. So the granaries are safe. They're also safe from the moisture below. So there are lots of different cultures which have built these little raised granaries, and so I've built these two. They look kind of Viking-y. This one is technically more like from, I think the 1800s is when they used to build these, but they are pretty much, well, they were all over Norway at one point. So I put it here. It's, you know, it's Viking enough, right? So I put that there. I think it looks pretty cool. And these two are just random buildings. This one's got a cool overhang, which I really like, with this little detail of that triangular pediment thing. I don't even know what you'd call that, but that was kind of difficult to make in Minecraft, yet I managed to do it, and I think it looks pretty nice. I'm quite proud of this structure. And we have some stables. In reality, they probably would not have a structure like this. I mean, it's not entirely impossible. I just needed something to fill in the space here. And this is a spot where we could maybe put a well for the horses to drink from, because horses need water too. And the last space in this area, which has not been used, is this one here, which will be a graveyard, because lots of people die and they need to be buried, and why not right next to the church. So we have done a lot of stuff here, built a lot of buildings. This place is feeling quite a bit like a city, and it's taken a lot of my time to do that as well, but unfortunately, I'm sure you can notice it's not quite done. There's still things missing. Mainly, there's nothing inside there. There are no light paths connecting to the buildings. It's all just plain grass. It's obviously not 100% done, and this last final stage is probably what would take more time than everything I've already done here, because you just need to think, well, oh, you know, I think this needs like a couple blades of grass here, and oh, you know what, I feel like there should be some coarse dirt this way. Oh, you know what, I think there should be like some kind of fence here. Like, I don't know, it just takes a long time. If you've ever done something like this in Minecraft, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna have to do that now, and it's gonna take a long time. And yeah, this whole project probably could have been 2 episodes, and it would have been a lot easier. But here we are, and now we've basically got to finish it, or else it's going to be like this forever, and that would not be very cool. So let's build some dirt paths, grass blocks, and graveyards right now. I think I can finally say that this city is 100% done. So I have spent another very long time putting in all the little details that this place needs to feel complete, and this area here, which is the market, has of course been finished. This here, can you guess what that is? Well, I hope so. It's a place selling meat, and we've got some chicken. No, I'm not gonna sing that song. But yeah, we've got this meat shop with these different types of meat. I think they look pretty cool. And over here we've got the blacksmith shop, selling some tools, of course, and various other materials of iron, like this thing and that thing and that thing, of course, yeah. So that's the blacksmith shop. The other buildings in this area have been improved with some blades of grass. Big improvement, as you can see. And over here we've got the graveyard. It's very gravy. It's not got grass in it because people mow the lawn in graveyards, so there's no tall grass. But you can see there's a variety of shapes of graves that I've put around here, including this big one. I don't know whose grave it is, but they must have been an important person. And moving on over this way, we've got this area, which is probably like my favorite quarter. Like, this whole section here just looks really cool. We've got some dirt because people walk on it and kill the grass, and we've got some tall grass in places where people don't walk so much. There's also some dirt underneath here because it's darker since there's no light. Darker since there's no light? Yeah, that's right, that makes sense. Over here we've got a tree. Isn't that lovely? And coming around towards these stables, we have some poo. Lots of poo on the ground because the horses are stinky and they poo everywhere, and so it's all in there in the stables. And we have, of course, a well, as I said. I would make. Imagine living right next to these stables. Like, that would be a really stinky life. Now, you may have noticed that I forgot to talk about this giant building here. That was entirely unintentional, and I will now talk about it now. So basically, this is a longhouse. Looking longhouse, very similar to the one which we built in the Alloy a while ago, except it doesn't, well, it's just a lot smaller. And this is the biggest thing, and I think it's really cool. That roof is curved. Look at that curve. That's an impressive curve. So in real life, the Viking longhouses, I don't think they'd always be curved, but I think they would sometimes be curved, and they look kind of like a boat hull, maybe. And so I tried to build that in Minecraft. Surprisingly difficult, but I think I nailed it, honestly. I think that looks perfect. And we have the McDonald's logo, because why not? And going on the inside, we've got this area. It's very simple, very basic. We've got a campfire and someone is cooking soup, I guess. I don't know. Not really much in here because no one's ever gonna come inside. So there's not really a point to putting lots of detail here. And in the back, we've got a little stone walkway and a nice little tree because trees are awesome. And over here, this is behind the market. I have put in those training dummies, which I said I would, and there's a little bit of dirt because people have been walking around in here. So that is basically all of the extra details that I've added in. Of course, it's all lit up and everything, so there won't be any mobs spawning. And honestly, like, just looking around here, this city, although I think it was probably dumb to try to do this all in one episode, I think this is really awesome. Like, this place is just so cool. This place feels like a city. It feels done. I forgot to mention that this town is called Hoidaborg, or Huideborg, if you're gonna try to pronounce it correctly, and that means something along the lines of Hill City or Hill Fort. It's not necessarily one specific language, so it's sort of doesn't really mean anything, but it's around Hill Fort-ish, sort of. That's kind of what it means. So yeah, now you know. And so that's basically all there is for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you made it this far, you should like, comment, and subscribe right now. And also, guess what? Join my Minecraft server. The link is in the description. You should do it right now and play Minecraft with me and see the city for yourself. So, click the link in the description, like and subscribe, and I will now go. Goodbye.
Domine, dona eis